Welcome to the Archaeology and Metal Detecting Magazine Weekly Newscast.
Hello everybody, my name's Dave Sadler from the Archaeology and Metal Detecting Magazine here with another week of news. Thankfully getting back on track and being able to do this a little bit more often. Been a big week here and there, one quite massive metal detecting find which has caused a bit of a kerfuffle between archaeologists and metal detectors. We'll get back onto that shortly. First up, archaeologists have discovered 22 Roman skeletons at the back of Lincoln's Holiday Inn. 2 were decapitated. PCS archaeologists found the remains of men, women and children ahead of the work starting on the rear extension to the Holiday Inn in Brayford Wharf North. The site is part of a known cemetery for the earliest citizens of Lincoln, which was known as Lindum Colonna in Roman times. It was located outside the walls of the city because burials were forbidden inside. Oh, we got some lovely images here. Absolutely fantastic. Beautiful reddish earth with the skeletons throughout. I'm looking at on Lincolnshire Live news website, and there's actually an image of one of the skeletons with its skull placed between its feet. I don't know what the decapitations would indicate. Would they be done previous or after death? Is it something, obviously, I know there'll be people who know. Personally, I don't, but very, very interesting nonetheless. The images are fantastic. North to south and east to west orientated burials. So that's ongoing. Obviously, please, as I always say, Google that. And you will find out more and be able to see the images of the 22 Roman skeletons discovered at the back of Lincoln's Holiday Inn. So that's a fantastic first story today. Excuse me. Over in northern Spain, the search for Cortez's ship turned up a 15th century anchor off Veracruz. Could the anchor, half buried in the ocean floor off Veracruz, be part of the wreckage of one of the scuttled ships of Conquistador Hernan Cortez? The Spanish adventurer had 2 options in 1519: face mutiny or quell a rebellion by scuttling 10 of his 11 ships, which would give the crew no option but to move inland with him towards the heart of the Mexican Empire. He chose the latter option, which had led to a project whose goal is to locate the remains of Cortez's fleet. Very interesting case. A friend of mine, Alex Savage, who is an archaeologist and metal detectorist, he's currently training in diving, so he will be able to actually participate in nautical archaeology, and some of the things that I know he's done in the past are very exciting archaeological wise, and that I know of several things that he has been asked to participate in the future regarding, obviously, archaeology on and diving, because I think it's pretty rare that you get an archaeologist and a diver in comparison. I'm not saying it's rare as in there aren't any in comparison to generally archaeology. The nautical archaeologists are pretty rare, the ones who can actually dive down. So there's an interesting story about the search for Cortez's ship off Veracruz in Spain. A new archaeological excavation explores Home Cultron Abbey of the West Cumbrian Archaeological Society, which was established in 2003, is delighted to be awarded £69,300 by the National Lottery Heritage. Oh, you just love it that I can't speak. Funding for its Home Cultron Harbour project. Home Cultron Abbey, I wish they could have made this easier to say, in Abbey Town was the largest monastic house in Cumbria and was founded by Cistercian monks. I said that one okay. The new project aims to build on discoveries in 2016 when local volunteers working on one of the excavations uncovered a jetty to the southeast of the abbey. Vessels travelling in from the Solway, first on a long filled in deep water channel, used this as a landing stage, possibly during the construction period of the abbey. Fantastic work going on up there. in Cumbria, and some great images of the stonework that they're uncovering there, and some of the pits. Fantastic, absolutely brilliant. I've been talking to somebody in the archaeological industry not far from me, and there's something quite big in their area which I can't obviously speak about, but I have asked would they keep us in communication with them. And also I've got to email somebody right after this broadcast in a similar area who are conducting archaeological surveys at the moment as well. So I'd obviously like to be able to gather the information to put it out firsthand to whoever wants to hear it, to be honest. So anyway, have a Google for the Cumbrian Cistercian Monastery. I thought it might be an idea to throw in one or two articles from the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine itself, looking at some of the things that we've had published in the past. One thing this past week that is new to the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine website, www.archmdmag.com, is Project Oak Island. And Project Oak Island is as it sounds. It's been created for the reader to access all Oak Island related articles and media related information related to the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine. I've had the pleasure to work with numerous authors and media figures. We've published their articles and been involved in other projects, so we felt a defined Oak Island section would give us the ability to bring all subject matter into one location. So basically we've got it on the menu at the top of the screen currently. In the future this may pop into the articles area, and obviously the drop down area in there which currently has archaeology, metal detecting, historical and reviews, so potentially that might move there in the future to allow space for another project. In this case currently we have the original Reader's Digest article in full, which was published back in the 1960s, which is brought up quite regularly as one of the reasons for modern interest in the case. I know for certain that one of the Legina brothers read that article and it sparked his interest as a young boy, and it's also quoted quite often. We have a what lies beneath, all the different theories of what potentially could be found on Oak Island, if anything. We've been working with James McQuiston, who is a scholar in history. He's wrote numerous books from Oak Island, and one of them he's given us access to the Oak Island Nights. So there's information regarding that book, and it goes quite in depth. Not talking about the book itself, but talking about a medallion. It's more of an article as well as a review. We've also got some information for Randall Sullivan, who we've dealt with as well. His book, The Curse of Oak Island, and unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you want to put it, we've put an RIP Oak Island Dan Blankenship article that we have published on there. Also, we have an abundance of images from Maps to History and Find, and a book that was given to me and signed by the author Lionel Fanthorpe, who anybody in the UK may remember him from 40 and TV, the singing reverend who went round talking about 40 mysteries. His book with his wife Patricia, The Oak Island Mystery, although it was published back in 1996, I do have it, and I thought it would be nice to throw a review and a little bit something extra for people to see that they may not know about currently 23 years later. Then we've got 3 broadcasts from All Metal Mode UK, one involving myself, which I had the pleasure to interview Randall Sullivan. There's also the All Metal Mode American version with Randall also, and the James McQuiston Oak Island interview. Coming up over the coming weeks will also be in there Global Detective Adventures 3-part interview with James McQuiston of Oak Island, which goes very, very, very much into depth about all things Oak Island. So I'm looking forward to them. Keep an eye on our Archaeology and Metal Detecting Magazine Facebook page or Twitter, where all the information comes through to you automatically. Alternatively, keep an eye on the Project Oak Island page or the news page on the website. Anything we publish directly goes through the news page, which I'm thinking about putting a bit of a feed on the homepage as well, so you can see the up-to-date version of what's happening from there. So that's the Project Oak Island that we're currently participating in. Straight out of yesterday, traces of 5 drugs have been found in a 1,000-year-old South American ritual kit. Human-like wooden carvings, basically snuff tubes, and their tablets have been found in Bolivia, thought to be 1,000 years old. This drug paraphernalia was found in a rock shelter in Bolivia, featuring traces of 5 psychoactive chemicals, including cocaine and components of, wait for it, because I'm going to bugger this up saying it, ayahuasca. Ask an expert. This is the first number of psychoactive compounds detected in a single archaeological find in South America, the researchers say. The plants they come from aren't native to the highland area where they were found, so they may have been brought from trading networks or travelling shamans. The artefacts were found amongst rubble in the structure. They may have served as funerary enclosure in the Lipes highlands of southwest Bolivia. They include a 28 centimetre long leather bag, a pair of wooden snuff tubes, a snuff tube, a snuff tube, a pair of llama bone spatulas, a textile headband, fragments of dried plant stems, and a pouch made from 3 frogs' snouts stitched together. The snuffing tube and tablet feature ornate carving of human-like figures, and very nice they are too. As you can imagine, the Mayan art, it's very much in that style. So pop along and have a look for the traces of drugs found in a South American ritual kit. Very interesting indeed. And finally, the big one for the week, and it's the one that's caused quite a bit of argument, conjecture, and other things over in the UK. He's done it again. Detectorist 27 discovers an 800-year-old brooch 5 years after finding an Anglo-Saxon gold pendant worth £145,000. Tom Lucking by name, Lucky by nature, uncovered an 800-year-old brooch while on a metal detecting rally. He said that he sat and admired it for a while in the field after brushing off the soil. It comes 5 years after he found an Anglo-Saxon gold pendant worth £145,000. This was down in Wyndham in Norfolk. Now, this is where it gets a bit iffy. The gold brooch, by the way, absolutely gorgeous. Stunning, in fact. All over the news. It's been highlighted on the BBC and such like. And it's not worth me attempting to explain to you or describe to you what it looks like. It's better that you go and look yourself. Anglo-Saxon gold pendant or gold brooch found in Norfolk, something like that. Do the Google search or search Tom Lucking. Now, the reason the argument has occurred is Tom is actually a trained archaeologist who enjoys metal detecting. Now, archaeologists aren't very happy in the sense that this is somebody who's gone out and obviously metal detectorists. There's a lot of metal detectorists who have discovered items of archaeological significance, and they've obviously gone to the Crown, Treasure Trove, etc., and they've garnered monies from the find. And this has always caused some consternation in the past from archaeologists. On this occasion, because Tom is an archaeologist, I've come across numerous arguments on forums about him actually doing this, and people not being happy that a commercial archaeologist can go out there and make money by metal detecting. Again, this argument is something that we've as the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine, we want to build bonds in the communities of metal detecting and archaeology, and we know how difficult it is, and we've been involved in discussions in the past which have become heated because people just totally disagree with metal detecting being used as an archaeological tool. In my eyes, whenever I actually take part in metal detecting, I always class it in my head as a metal detecting survey for archaeological purposes. As many people do. Hobbyists generally don't think of it in that sense. They go in metal detecting, they find something, and they report it if it's of consequence. And that is the correct thing to do by law. Personally, in my head, I do it the other way round, where it's an archaeological survey with a metal detector. That's just the way I think. And it might be the right thing to think, it might be the wrong way to think. But I don't believe that just because a person has found something and he has made quite a significant amount of money by going through the process of treasure trove and law, that he should be ostracised because of this. Kudos to him. Kudos to Tom. He's found something. He has brought it to the attention of everybody that he's supposed to bring to attention of, and he's also participating thereafter in the research regarding the find and the research of the area. Who better to be in a situation of finding something of consequence with a metal detector than an archaeologist? As I gave mention earlier, Alex Savage, he is also an archaeologist who does metal detecting. He's not been out and found something that's worth £145,000, but he knows the correct way to do it. And therefore, people who are on these rallies with Alex and with Tom are seeing the correct way of doing things and learning thereafter. So, it's going to be an ongoing argument. I don't think there should be one. If it wasn't for Tom finding this, it wouldn't be known to archaeology, for a start. So, let's chill out a little bit. Let's work together a little bit more. Things will be a lot easier if archaeologists and metal detectorists work together and do things the correct way. Anyway, that's my 10 penneth. Anyway, I'm Dave Sadler. This is the Archaeology and Metal Detecting Magazine News. Best give a quick brief rundown of events again. August the 30th to Sunday the 1st is the UK History Finders Weekender in Kidderminster. You can Google all these or go on Facebook and find them. The two big ones, Rodney Cook Memorial Rally from the 6th to 8th of September near Bath, which is a charity event in memory of Gary Cook, the metal detectorist father. All monies will be going to certain cancer charities. Our WrestleMania, the Detectable in Burford in Oxfordshire from the 14th Saturday, arrive on the 13th of September, and the metal detecting's on Saturday the 14th, Sunday the 15th. And finally, Team of Yorkshire event in Lincoln from the 20th to the 22nd, all proceeds going back into charities in the UK from the Eastern European metal detectorist team. Thursday nights, don't forget Archaeology and that's me. All Metal Mode UK podcast in the UK at 8 PM. On Mondays and Tuesdays in the US at 8 PM EST. And keep an eye on Global Detection Adventures either on Facebook or you can Google them. I think it's a Monday night. Lance is putting the audio out. He's doing them pre-recorded at the moment, as well as throwing in some live versions as well. So please give All Metal Mode UK and Global Detection Adventures a good look. One final little bit of news is that our podcast may have some interest of consequence. More to come in the future when we get the final things finally on paper, the agreement of what's going to occur, but things might be going somewhere with the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine. That's all I can say. I'm Dave Sadler. Have a pleasant week.
The Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine acts as a hub for information, offering articles from archaeologists, detectorists and other specialists throughout the genre, featuring many links, event info and news articles associated to archaeology and metal detecting. We also offer professional review services and promotion for books, resources, videos, documentaries, gadgets, equipment and much, much more. The magazine is run by the archaeological and metal detecting community for the archaeological and metal detecting community. So come visit us at archmdmag.com, that's archmdmag.com, and check out information from our media section with all the latest content, news from the Archaeology channel, podcast and the YouTube channels that feature the now legendary Digger Dawn, the Man with the Hat and Archeo Duck, just to name a few. If you would like to offer an article, link or inquire about other services, then pay us a visit at archmdmag.com and drop us a line.